You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
That knot in your stomach, the racing thoughts.
Yeah.
That sudden wave of like dread or just anxiety that washes over you the moment you look at your to-do list.
Yep. Familiar territory.
That feeling of being utterly defeated or overwhelmed before you've even started. You know exactly what I mean.
Absolutely. It's a total paradox, isn't it? We use this tool, the to-do list, that's supposed to bring order, clarity, calm.
Right.
And for so many people, it just becomes this massive source of stress, feeling overwhelmed, constantly behind.
It's completely counterintuitive. We make these lists thinking, okay, this will help me manage everything buzzing around in my head, get organized.
Maybe you get that little dopamine hit when you check something off.
Exactly. But instead, they just pile up.
Yeah.
They morph into this like insurmountable mountain and make us feel like we're constantly failing.
And that psychological weight, just looking at the list and feeling inadequate, it's incredibly draining. It hits your energy, your mood, your actual ability to tackle the stuff you need to do.
It really does. So today, we're taking a deep dive. We've gathered a bunch of material research, articles, different takes on this. We want to understand why this happens. Why does this seemingly simple tool so often become a source of, well, significant stress?
And more importantly, what can we actually do about it?
Yes. Our mission here is to transform that feeling of dread into something productive. Find strategies for action and, ultimately, a greater sense of calm and control.
Yeah, we're going to unpack the common pitfalls, the mistakes people make with these lists.
Okay.
And then explore practical, evidence-backed strategies. Stuff from productivity gurus, psychology research, well-being practices, how to build a system that actually works for you.
So we'll look at the fundamental mistakes first, then get into the nitty-gritty, how to properly break down tasks, prioritize them effectively.
Right. Explore different time management techniques, too, the ones that give you structure.
And crucially, connect the dots. How does this task list stress actually impact our mental health, our physical health?
Yeah, and how things like mindfulness, even simple breathing techniques can be like total game changers in managing that stress response.
Because it's not just about checking off more items, is it?
Not at all. It's about how managing what needs doing affects how you feel, your energy, your capacity to actually engage with your work and, your life.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Where do we typically go wrong? Why does this helpful tool turn into a stress monster?
Well, the sources we looked at, they point to several core mistakes. And the very first one, maybe the most foundational, it's confusing your to-do list with what's really just a brain dump.
Oh, wow. Okay, that hits home immediately. My first list for the day. Or the week. It often starts exactly like that. Just everything. Big ideas, tiny chores, appointments, random thoughts, all jumbled together.
Right. And look, a brain dump is fine. It's actually a necessary first step. Getting it all out of your head so you're not trying to hold on to it mentally, that's great.
Frees up brain space.
Exactly. But if that raw dump becomes your actual to-do list, that's where the trouble starts. You end up with this endless, undifferentiated stream of stuff.
No separation.
No separation. And the material points out, just looking at a list like that, instant overwhelm, panic even, that feeling of being constantly behind. It's not an actionable plan. It's just reflecting the chaos in your head.
So mistake number one, treating the brain dump as the finished list. What's number two?
Not breaking tasks down. And this flows right from the first mistake.
Makes sense.
If your brain dump had something big, like write blog posts, and that's what stays on your to-do list, just write blog posts. That's a huge problem. It's too big, too vague. It's not defined at all.
Because write blog posts isn't one action. You don't just sit down and do it. It's a whole project.
Exactly. One source uses that specific example. Write blog post really means identify the topic, do the research, create an outline, write the draft, edit it, maybe optimize it for SEO, publish it, then share it.
Right, like 10 different steps.
At least. If your list just says blog post, you look at it and think, oh, where do I even start? It feels massive, insurmountable.
And you definitely can't estimate how long that vague thing will take. It's just this big, looming unknown. Plus, you miss out on the good feelings, checking things off as you go.
You got it. You only get to check off blog post way at the end if you even get there. Breaking tasks down into smaller, distinct, manageable, actionable chunks, it's absolutely critical.
Gives you clarity.
Immediate clarity on the actual steps needed makes estimating time way more accurate. And yes, it gives you those regular, satisfying little wins. Checking off subtasks provides those dopamine hits that keep you motivated. The material really emphasizes granularity is key, makes the list feel approachable.
Okay, so confusing the brain dump with the list, check. Not breaking down big tasks. Check. What else are we doing wrong?
Mistake number 3, not identifying and prioritizing your top tasks.
The everything feels equally important problem.
Exactly. When your list is just this long, flat collection of items, it's so easy to get lost in the weeds. You might spend your day plugging away at a dozen small, easy, low-impact things.
Because they feel quick to finish.
Right. While the 1 or 2 critical tasks, the ones that would really move the needle, they just sit there, untouched, at the bottom.
This is classic Parkinson's law, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the source mentioned that. Work expands to fill the time you give it.
It absolutely does. If you don't clearly define what's most important, those less critical tasks, they can just swallow your entire day.
So how do we fight that?
A core strategy, mentioned again and again in the material, is to consciously identify just 1 to 3 most important tasks, or MITs, for your day, or maybe your week.
Just 1 to 3.
Yeah, keep it focused, star them, highlight them, list them separately at the top, make them visually stand out.
And the advice is usually tackle those first, right? Like when you have the most energy.
That's the highly recommended approach. Schedule time for them, maybe first thing in the morning, before the day's chaos kicks in.
Get the big rocks in first.
Exactly. That way, even if the rest of your day goes sideways, which, let's be honest, happens all the time, you've still made real high-impact progress on what matters most. It's a powerful way to feel productive, feel in control, even on a crazy day.
Okay. Identify the top few, make them visible, hit them hard early. Got it. Mistake number 4.
Not flagging blocked items or backlogs. Now, this is critical because it creates this false sense of obligation, and it really messes with your workflow and your sense of momentum.
Blocked items. You mean stuff you literally can't work on right now, like you're waiting for something.
Exactly. They depend on something outside your control. Waiting for info from a colleague, maybe approval from your boss, or sometimes you're waiting on yourself to finish a previous step.
Okay.
The source material gives an example. Needing to conduct an interview before you can write a case study. If write case study just sits on your active list unflagged while you haven't done the interview, it just looks like something you should be doing but aren't.
And that just adds to the mental clutter, the feeling of overwhelm, even though you physically can't move on it yet.
Precisely. Flagging makes it crystal clear which tasks are genuinely actionable right now versus which are just waiting. And if something stays blocked for ages, maybe the new task becomes unblock the case study, like follow up with Sarah on the report data, or schedule that client interview.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And what about carryover items or backlogs?
Yeah, those are the tasks that migrate from yesterday's list to today's. Maybe tomorrow's too. They just linger for days, weeks sometimes.
The ones you keep putting off, or they're just low priority and never quite make the cut.
Yes, those persistent ones. It's really important to acknowledge them during a review. Consciously decide, am I going to schedule a specific time to finally do this? Can I delegate it? Or is it actually still relevant? Maybe I should just delete it.
Stop letting them haunt the list.
Yeah, exactly. Letting that backlog accumulate without making a decision, that significantly contributes to that heavy, weighed down, perpetually behind feeling. Not flagging blockers and letting backlogs fester creates this illusion of a giant static list that feels impossible.
It really does.
And the 5th common mistake ties right into this. Not performing regular audits of your whole to-do list system.
An audit.
Yeah.
Like actually reviewing the list and how it's working.
Exactly. Regularly reviewing daily, weekly, maybe both, is crucial for boosting productivity and cutting stress. This is where flagging blocked items and backlogs really pays off. Audits help you spot the bottlenecks.
Where things consistently get stuck.
Right. Areas where tasks always seem to be blocked, or where certain types of tasks always end up in the backlog.
So if my audit shows, say, tasks needing input from finance are always blocked, or drafting proposals always ends up in the backlog, that tells me where my system's slowing down.
That's precisely the kind of insight an audit gives you. And the key, the material suggests, isn't just seeing these as problems. See them as opportunities. Opportunities to improve your flow, fix your system.
Okay, so find the friction points.
Find the friction points, then brainstorm solutions. Maybe you need a different approach for that task type. Better communication to get inputs faster. Can you delegate parts? Talk to the team about the holdups.
It's about figuring out where work isn't flowing smoothly and actively fixing it.
Yes. And importantly, audits also show you where work is flowing easily. Where are you strong? What types of tasks are energizing for you?
Leverage your strengths.
Exactly. Optimize those areas. Use your strengths to create space and energy for the weaker spots or those bottleneck tasks. Maybe creative stuff energizes you even when you're tired. Schedule that for later. Save the really tough, focus-heavy bottleneck tasks for your peak energy time.
So audits aren't just troubleshooting. They're about gathering data, understanding your workflow, finding inefficiencies, playing to your strengths, and constantly tweaking the system to make it less stressful and more effective.
Absolutely. They give you the clarity, the data, to make your task management system work for you, not against you. So, just to recap the 5 big mistakes. Confusing the list with a brain dump, not breaking tasks down, failing to prioritize, not flagging blocked items or backlogs, and skipping those regular audits.
Okay, that paints a really clear picture of the problems. Now, how do we fix it? How do we actually manage our tasks better? It feels like it starts with just how we approach the tasks themselves. Breaking things down, prioritizing.
Yeah.
How do we get better at that?
Well, the sources offer a pretty clear step-by-step process for breaking tasks down effectively. And the very first step, it's almost like a prerequisite, is you have to fully understand the task.
Know what you're actually trying to achieve.
Exactly. What's the end goal? What are all the requirements? Take a moment, review the info, read the brief, clarify any fuzzy bits before you start slicing it up.
So asking, what kind of task is this? Research, writing, design. How big is it? What's the real deadline? And critically, what depends on what? What has to happen before I can even start this?
Precisely. You can't break down something you don't fully grasp. Once you get it, step 2 is the actual breaking it down. Divide that big task into smaller, manageable, self-contained parts. Each little piece should be a distinct, actionable step that contributes to the overall goal.
Like building blocks.
Yeah, like Legos. Each brick is small and specific, but they all fit together to build the final thing.
So instead of plain company picnic, it's research parks, get catering quotes, draft invite emails, send invites, track RSVPs, order supplies, concrete steps.
Exactly like that. Step 3 then is to sequence those tasks.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got the small pieces. Now what's the logical order? Some things depend on others. You got to research the parks before you get catering quotes for a specific park, right?
Right.
Others maybe can happen at the same time. So organize them in a flow that makes sense for actually doing the work.
Step 4 is estimating the time for each small task.
This is super helpful for planning and scheduling. Doesn't have to be perfect, but make an educated guess. How long did similar things take before? How complex does this bit feel? Got the resources? An estimate helps you see how much time to block out.
Then step 5. Prioritize the smaller tasks within the bigger project.
Right. Even within the subtasks, some are more critical. Which small steps have the biggest impact? Which ones are on the critical path, meaning if this little thing gets delayed, the whole project stalls?
Okay. Identify the linchpins.
Identify those key steps, prioritize them. This is also where you might spot steps you could maybe delegate if it's a team effort.
Step 6. You mentioned planning for breaks.
Essential. Trying to power through something complex without breaks. Recipe for burnout, lost focus. Build in short breaks intentionally. Keeps you sharp.
Step 7. Tracking progress.
As you finish each little defined step, track it. Check it off. Get that visual confirmation of progress we talked about. It boosts motivation and helps you spot delays or problems early.
And finally, step 8. Review and adjust.
Because the plan's not carved in stone, regularly check in on the overall task and its steps. Falling behind? Why? Was an estimate way off? Unexpected blocker pop up? Be flexible. Adjust priorities, deadlines, maybe reallocate resources. The plan's a guide, not a cage.
This whole process, task decomposition, it sounds like it takes a bit more upfront thinking than just slapping do thing X on a list. Why is that effort so important?
Oh, the sources make a really strong case. Breaking tasks down. It significantly boosts productivity just by making work feel less huge and scary. It helps with risk management. You see potential problems sooner. Allows for better resource allocation because you know what each step needs. Enables way more accurate planning and tracking. And most importantly, clarity. It just gives you immense clarity. It takes a big, overwhelming goal and turns it into understandable, achievable steps.
And this is where things like micro-productivity or microtasking come in, breaking things down even further.
Exactly. Microtasking is all about leveraging those little pockets of time, micro moments you have during the day. 5 minutes before a meeting, 10 minutes between calls. while the kettle boils.
Use those little gaps.
Yeah, if you've broken tasks down into tiny steps you can knock out in just a few minutes, you can make real progress in those otherwise wasted moments. It dramatically cuts down the overwhelm of big tasks and gives you frequent, quick hits of accomplishment. Super motivating.
Okay, so mastering task decomposition is foundational. Once we have tasks broken down, how do we organize and prioritize all of them across different projects, work, life?
Right, the big picture. First step, again, is get it all out. Master list time, all your tasks, work, personal errands, chores, fitness, long-term goals, everything.
Be thorough and specific.
Very specific, not report, but research data for Q3 sales report or draft outline for marketing report. What's the actual action?
Got it. Then what?
Then assess urgency and importance for each item. How soon does it really need doing? And how crucial is it for your big goals, work or personal? This is where you separate the urgent and important stuff, like finish client proposal due tomorrow, from the important but less urgent stuff, like update resume or plan next year's vacation.
And there are different methods to structure this prioritization, right?
Absolutely. Simplest is just a basic task agenda, listing or scheduling tasks in a calendar, an app, even paper. You can mix personal and professional here.
We mentioned the most important task, MIT method, earlier.
Yeah, and it's worth hitting again because it's so simple and effective. Each day or week, pick just 1 to 3 critical tasks, the real game changers, the ones that, if you do them, make the biggest impact or unlock other things.
And commit to doing them first.
Ideally, yeah. During your peak time. Great if your work's flexible or you struggle getting started on big stuff. If you only get your MITs done, still a successful day.
Time boxing is another one people talk about a lot.
It's powerful. You allocate specific, fixed blocks of time to different tasks or activities. Could be 15 minutes, could be several hours.
So instead of just listing work on Project X, you schedule 9.0 a.m., 7.0 a.m. deep work on Project X.
Exactly that. The goal is to boost productivity with dedicated focus time, minimize distractions during that block. It forces you to see where your time is actually going, and crucially, time boxing lets you intentionally schedule non-work stuff too.
Breaks, exercise, family time, hobbies.
Right. It stops work from just expanding to fill every gap. You protect time for personal well-being. Studies show it increases productivity, focus, and reduces work stress.
And day theming is like time boxing, but for whole days.
Sort of, yeah. Dedicating entire days to specific types of work. Mondays for admin planning, Tuesdays for deep project work, Thursdays for meetings, etc. Good if you juggle big responsibilities or need long stretches for complex stuff.
Another approach is looking at effort versus impact.
Right. For each task, roughly estimate how much effort, time, energy, resources will this take? Versus what's the potential positive impact or outcome? Helps you prioritize low effort, high impact stuff like a crucial follow-up email, maybe differently than high effort, high impact stuff, developing a new strategy, and spot the low effort, low impact stuff to ditch.
So based on these methods, you order your tasks somehow.
Yep. Arrange your list or schedule with the highest priorities, however you define them at the top or schedule first. But remember, it's not static. Review and adjust regularly. New urgent things pop up. Priorities shift. Got to be flexible.
It really sounds like just doing this breaking down, prioritizing directly tackles procrastination too.
Oh, absolutely. Procrastination often comes from tasks feeling too big, too vague, overwhelming, or just not knowing where to start.
Small steps make it less scary.
Exactly. And techniques like time blocking or MIT's create structure force you to begin. Add some accountability, a colleague, an app, and you've got key self-regulatory strategies to beat that urge to delay.
Okay, so we've got the problems, the foundations of breakdown and prioritizing.
Yeah.
Now let's get into some specific time management techniques, more like structured systems.
Right. Frameworks for structuring your time and tasks more broadly. One everyone knows is the Pomodoro technique.
The timer one, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off.
That's the classic setup. Break work into focused intervals, usually 25 minutes, separated by short breaks, usually 5. After maybe 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break, 15-20 minutes.
And the idea is just intense focus for short bursts.
Pretty much. Improve concentration, manage time efficiently, reduce burnout, forces you to focus intensely knowing a break is near, makes big tasks feel less daunting. I just need to focus for 25 minutes. Simple, but really valuable for productivity and managing energy.
Then there's the Eisenhower matrix, named after President Eisenhower, right?
That's the one. A brilliantly simple prioritization framework, just a 2x2 grid, based on 2 things, urgency and importance.
Okay, quadrant 1, important and urgent.
Right. The fires, crises, pressing deadlines, critical issues demanding immediate attention. The instruction, do them. Now, high priority.
Quadrant 2. Important, but not urgent.
The golden quadrant. These are crucial for long-term success, growth, well-being, but no immediate deadline screaming at you. Think long-term planning, skill building, relationships, exercise, strategic thinking, the instruction. Schedule time for these proactively.
This is where the important stuff that gets pushed aside lives.
Exactly. It's often seen as the most vital quadrant for real achievement and balance, but because it's not urgent, it gets neglected unless you deliberately make time for it.
Which is where time blocking fits perfectly. Scheduling Q2 time.
Perfect fit. Time blocking ensures those crucial Q2 activities actually happen.
Okay, next quadrant. Not important, but urgent. Quadrant 3.
Yep. These often feel urgent because they interrupt you, maybe requests from others needing a quick reply, some admin tasks, but they don't really contribute much to your core goals. The instruction, delegate if you can. If not, eliminate or minimize the time spent. They just eat time and energy.
And finally, quadrant 4. Not important and not urgent.
The time wasters. Trivial stuff, pure distractions. Mindless scrolling, too much gaming when you should work, pointless gossip. Instruction, simple. Avoid or eliminate. They just hinder productivity and balance. Using the matrix gives you a system to evaluate everything. Helps cut wasted time, allocate effort effectively, especially to Q2. Studies even link it to better job performance and work-life balance.
We talked about time blocking already, but it's worth highlighting on its own too.
Definitely. Because while it helps schedule Q2 tasks from Eisenhower, it's a powerful technique by itself, allocating specific time slots for all activities, work and personal.
Blocking time for emails, project work, and gym, dinner, reading.
Exactly. Forces you to see how long things really take, where time goes. Gives you a clear overview, helps you make realistic plans, increases focus during blocks, and crucially, ensures you intentionally schedule personal well-being, relationships, hobbies, not just leftovers. Studies show it reduces work overload, stress, leads to a more balanced life.
Now, getting things done, GTD. That sounds way more involved. David Allen's system.
Yeah, GTD is a whole philosophy, a complete framework. Managing tasks, projects, information overload, aiming for stress-free productivity. The core idea: your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. Trying to remember everything creates open loops, drains energy, causes stress. GTD gives you a system to get it all out and organize.
Okay, what are the 5 steps? First is capture.
Yes, capture everything that has your attention. Tasks, ideas, info, get it out of your head into a trusted inbox. Physical tray, notebook, app, voice memo, doesn't matter. Just collect it reliably so your brain can let go. Frees up mental RAM.
Step 2, clarify.
Process your inbox. Look at each item. What is it? Is it actionable? If yes, what's the very next physical action? If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now, the 2-minute rule. Not actionable. Trash it, file it for reference, or put it on a someday maybe list. If it's multi-step, it's a project. Identify the next action for that project.
Step 3, organize.
Put the clarified, actionable stuff into the right lists in your system. By project, by context, at computer, at phone, at errands, or just next actions. Add due dates if needed. Goal: a structured system where you find what you need when you can do it.
Step 4, reflect.
Super important, often skipped. Regularly review your lists, your system. Daily review. Plan the day, check calendar, process inbox. Weekly review, more comprehensive. Look at all projects, upcoming stuff, review all lists. Keep the system current and trustworthy.
And step 5, engage.
Actually do the stuff. Based on your context, where you are, tools, available time, energy, and priorities, you choose the right task from your lists and work on it. Focus on completing those next actions. GTD helps you focus on the right thing at the right time, make progress, feel in control. Linked to less stress, more well-being because it gets things out of your head.
Wow, that is comprehensive.
Yeah.
The Ivy Lee method sounds like the polar opposite almost. Super simple.
It really is. And effective because it's simple and forces focus. End of the workday. Write down the 6 most important tasks for tomorrow. Only 6. Then, order them by importance.
And the rule is, next day, work only on task 1 until it's done. Then move to task 2, and so on.
Exactly. Don't finish all 6. Unfinished ones move to the top of the next day's list. Forces clear priority and, crucially, single tasking. Intense focus on one thing. Research backs this up. Focused attention boosts productivity, quality, speed, helps allocate time energy effectively, avoids the cost of switching between tasks.
The Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. That's more a guiding idea for prioritizing.
Yeah, less a system, more a principle. Suggests roughly 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts or tasks. So look at your list. Which 20% are the vital few that will yield 80% of the impact?
And focus your energy there.
Precisely. Optimize for effectiveness, not just being busy. Identify the tasks hitting your key goals hardest. That's your 20%. Give them the lion's share of your focus. Helps you choose what matters most and what might be less critical, maybe even deletable.
Don't break the chain. That sounds like it's for habits motivation.
It is. Great for recurring tasks or building consistency. Simple idea. Task you want to do daily. Exercise right, review MITs. Get a calendar. Each day you do it, mark a big X.
And the goal is just keep the chain of X's going. Don't break it.
That's the whole motivation. Builds momentum. Taps into that desire not to ruin a streak. Reinforces consistency. Helps overcome procrastination on regular stuff. Related idea. Non-zero days. Just make some progress, however tiny, every single day towards a goal. 5 minute counts. Keeps momentum.
The action method sounds like it was made for creative projects, things starting with brainstorming.
It was. Developed by Scott Belsky specifically for that. Turning ideas, meeting notes into actual steps. Organizes things into 3 buckets.
What are the buckets?
First, action items. The concrete, actionable steps to get the project done. Your actual to-do list for it. Second, back burner items. Interesting ideas, maybe future features, stuff not needed now but worth saving. Keeps them off your main list but doesn't lose them. Third, reference items. Resources, documents, links, style guides, info you need to do the action items.
So it takes that initial creative mess ideas, notes, links, and structures it. Clear tasks here, related ideas there, resources over here.
Exactly. Brings order to creative chaos. Streamlines workflow. Gives clarity and control on complex projects. Studies suggest it helps task completion, reduces project stress.
And beyond all these specific methods, the sources mention general strategies too.
Yeah, reinforcing the basics. Making effective to-do lists detailed, actionable, not vague. Actively managing distractions, especially digital ones, notifications, email. Enhancing focus mindfulness, deep work blocks. Overcoming procrastination, breaking tasks down, time blocking, accountability, and watching out for time thieves, stuff that eats time without adding value. Technology can help here. Apps for lists, calendars for blocking, website blockers.
Wow, okay. That is a serious toolkit. You can really see how just applying a few of these could totally change your relationship with your to-do list.
Absolutely. And you can also see how not doing these things, falling into those early mistakes, how that inevitably leads to that feeling of drowning in a huge stressful list that never gets smaller.
Which brings us right back to that core connection we mentioned. How these task management problems directly feed into stress.
Let's really dig into that link and explore ways to manage the stress itself. Because it's not just about being busy, it's the mental toll. Precisely. The sources define stress pretty simply. Brain and body's response to change, challenge, demand. It's our natural defense, fight or flight. Think increased heart rate, blood pressure, stress hormones like cortisol.
Helpful if a lion's chasing you, maybe less so when it's just your inbox overflowing.
Exactly. The problem is chronic stress. When those demands feel constant, unmanaged, it keeps those physical systems switched on, long term. Serious mental and physical health issues, anxiety, depression, heart problems, weaker immune system, and how we respond matters. Avoidance, coping, ignoring the stressful task. Short-term relief maybe, but bad long-term. Engaging, even if hard, builds resilience.
So how does the to-do list specifically trigger this, even when we're not doing the tasks?
This is fascinating and crucial. The material highlights anticipatory stress and anticipatory fatigue. Just thinking about the tasks on the list, the looming deadlines, the sheer volume can actually create the same physical and emotional symptoms. The anxiety, the tension, feeling drained, as if you were actually doing the stressful work.
Wait, just thinking about the list can make you feel tired and anxious. That seems incredibly unfair.
It does, but it's a powerful demo of the mind-body connection. Your brain doesn't always perfectly separate an imagined threat, the overwhelming list, from a real one. The source shared this really poignant story about a junior doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Objectively, she was incredibly productive, saw maybe 80 patients a day, amazing work, but she felt like a constant failure. Why? Because when she thought about work, she wasn't focused on the 80 she had helped. She was consumed by the 80 plus she hadn't seen yet, the ones still waiting, focusing purely on the deficiency, what was left undone.
Wow, that resonates. We focus on the gap.
Yeah.
Where we are versus where the list says we should be.
Exactly that. And the antidote suggested for this deficiency thinking and anticipatory stress. It's simple, but powerful. Create a done list.
Done list?
Yeah. End of the day or week, take a few minutes, consciously write down everything you did accomplish, big stuff, small stuff, even things that weren't on the list but took time and effort.
So intentionally shifting focus from the mountain of what's left to the solid ground of what you actually achieved.
Exactly. Celebrate those wins, however small. Give yourself credit for the progress. Research consistently shows recognizing progress is a huge motivator. It can fundamentally shift your perspective from overwhelmed and deficient to competent and accomplished. It's a direct counterpunch to anticipatory stress.
That's such a concrete, practical tip. Fight that negative loop. And related to this, the source distinguished between worrying and planning.
Another key insight for managing anticipatory stress: workload anticipation is normal, but the quality matters. Worrying about work in the evening, just ruminating, so much to do, how will I cope, what if? That leads to waking up exhausted. Anticipatory fatigue, full force.
So that feeling of waking up tired even after decent sleep could be my brain spinning on the to-do list all night.
Could very well be. Worrying is described as maladaptive. Future-focused, repetitive, negative thoughts about threats, uncertainties. It keeps you stuck in the problem, offers no solutions. The material puts it bluntly. Worrying is pointless and energetically very costly.
Pointless and energetically very costly. Oof, that hits.
Really highlights how useless it is, right?
Yeah.
Planning, though, that's productive. Action-oriented anticipation. Visualizing concrete steps, outlining the process, thinking how you'll tackle things. Studies found evening planning can actually lead to next morning vigor and motivation, the total opposite of worry.
So the difference between, huge report tomorrow, it's impossible, worry, versus, okay, 9/11 MA tomorrow, outline section 3, grab data from spreadsheet X, planning.
Exactly. One's a stress spiral, the other's empowering. The strategy, conscious redirection. Catch yourself worrying about the list. Intentionally pivot to planning. Grab a notebook, open your app, write down specific next actions for tomorrow. Focus on what you can control. Maybe use that stoic circle of control idea, what's in my power, what isn't.
So our internal story about the list isn't just background noise. It physically affects us.
Totally reinforces that mind-body link. Just imagining or dwelling on stressful stuff like that giant list triggers real physical and emotional reactions. That's why calming the mind, managing the stress response itself, is just as vital as fixing the task system. Chronic stress narrows focus, keeps us reactive, a calmer state. Broader attention, clearer thinking, better coping.
How do we actually cultivate that calmer state with everything going on?
Mindfulness is a primary tool discussed. Basically, present moment awareness, paying attention to thoughts, feelings, body sensations, without judgment. Cultivating it increases stress resilience, helps you cope better. Strongly linked to lower stress, anxiety, depression, better mood, well-being.
How does being present help with task list stress specifically?
Several ways. First, you notice those stress thoughts. This list is impossible. Just trust thoughts. You can step back, not get swept away. Creates a pause, lets you access your wise mind balancing emotion and reason instead of just panicking. Shifts you from stressed doing mode to calmer being. Increases body awareness, notice stress signs earlier. Fosters self-compassion, feeling overwhelmed as human. Reduces amygdala activity, fear center. Over time, lower baseline stress. And paradoxically, calming the mind improves focus. Better efficiency, maybe even flow states.
Helps us respond, not just react.
Exactly. Changing your relationship with stress itself, sometimes even reframing it as just energy, not pure threat. Beyond general mindfulness, the sources list specific, practical calm strategies. Breathing exercises are incredibly powerful. They directly influence your autonomic nervous system, activating the parasympathetic rest and digest response. Counteracts fight or flight.
Like focusing on longer exhales?
Yeah.
Is that one?
Yes. Simple things like breathing in for 4, out slowly for 6 or 8, signals your body to calm down. The sources mention gently constricting the back of your throat on the exhale, making a soft ocean sound. That vibration helps stimulate the vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve, that's like the main highway for the calming system.
Think of it as a major communication line. Brain, heart, lungs, gut. Conscious, slow, deep breathing, especially using the diaphragm and emphasizing the exhale. Send signals via the vagus nerve. You're safe. Relax.
There was a specific stress breath mentioned too.
Yeah, designed for quick relief when you're feeling overwhelmed. Start with an audible sigh out through the mouth, then close your mouth. Make the same sound, exhaling through your nose. Feel the throat vibration to boost the vagal response. Inhale, hold breath, bring chin to chest for 5 seconds. Then exhale audibly through the nose while lifting your head. Repeat a few times. Can create a noticeable shift.
It's amazing there are such direct physical ways to influence our stress.
Underscores that stress isn't just in your head, it's a whole body thing, and you have physical tools, other strategies, self-compassion, being aware of emotions during setbacks or overwhelm without judgment, understanding everyone's struggles, talking to yourself kindly like you would a friend.
Treat yourself like you'd treat a friend staring at their monster list.
Exactly. Validate the feeling. Don't let it consume you.
Yeah.
Genuine human connection is also huge. Being truly present for others, listening, sharing, fills a fundamental need. Taking care of yourself gives you more capacity for that connection.
And compassion for others. Altruism.
Yes, the sources note acts of service or kindness boost your well-being, reduce stress. Example, friend calls with an emergency, you drop everything to help. That focused outward energy replaces inward stress. Simple kindness creates a positive loop.
The list of other stress reducers was pretty varied too.
Range from physical walk to use muscles, balance energy. Engaging nature, look at something green, get outside. Playing, doing something just for fun, no goal. Activities like swimming, rhythmic, weightless. Reading aloud or listening to audiobooks engages different brain parts. Truly listening to music, focusing on melody rhythm. And importantly, take vacations.
Something Americans are bad at, apparently.
Unfortunately, yes. According to the material, time off isn't a luxury, it's essential. Prevents burnout, fosters creativity, makes you more effective when you return. Needed space for self-care, disconnection.
And managing stress before bed is key, since stress messes with sleep so much.
Absolutely. Stress and poor sleep. Vicious cycle. The material points to specific practices for winding down, improving sleep. Mindfulness meditation for sleep, even a few minutes, calms the racing mind. Studies show deep breathing for sleep, diaphragmatic breathing. The 4-7-8 breath. In 4, hold 7, out 8, whoosh, lowers heart rate, blood pressure. Listening to soothing instrumental music. Gentle, mindful movement like restorative yoga, poses forward bends, child's pose, legs up the wall, releases physical tension.
So these aren't just general wellness tips. They directly counteract the stress from task management issues.
Exactly. They give you tools to regulate your nervous system, calm your mind, make you more resilient. Guided meditations, like a body scan, systematically bringing awareness through the body. Studies show they reduce cortisol, biological proof. Practices like STOP, stop, take a breath, observe, proceed, or the 3-minute breathing practice. Quick tools for stressful moments during the day.
It's so clear. Tackling to-do list stress needs two things: fixing the external system for managing tasks and building the internal capacity to manage the stress they cause.
They're deeply interconnected. Better task systems and inner resilience practices like mindfulness, breathing, not separate things, two sides of the same coin. Both essential for feeling in control, productive, and, calm.
Okay, let's pull together the key takeaways from this deep dive then.
We started with the common mistakes, right? Confusing lists with brain dumps, not breaking tasks down, failing to prioritize, ignoring blockers and backlogs, skipping audits. How these turn a helpful tool into a stressor.
But then we explored powerful strategies to fight back. The step-by-step process for breaking down tasks effectively, sequencing them, using structured methods like Eisenhower for smart prioritizing, time blocking for intentional scheduling, GTD for a full system, Ivy Lee for focus, Pareto for impact.
And crucially, understanding it's not just external hacks, it's managing our internal state. How just thinking about the list creates anticipatory stress. How simple things like a done list shift focus from deficiency to accomplishment. Celebrate progress.
And how deliberately choosing planning over worrying saves energy, builds motivation.
Yep. And we dug into those well-being tools that directly address the stress. Mindfulness, changing our relationship with stressful thoughts, specific breathing techniques, physically calming the nervous system via the vagus nerve, the importance of self-compassion, connection, exercise, nature, play, regulating our stress response.
It's abundantly clear. Effective task management isn't just a productivity trick. It's deeply, profoundly tied to our mental and physical health.
Integrating better systems for what needs doing with practices for calm and resilience in how we approach it, that's the path. Transforming that stressful list into something that actually supports productivity, peace of mind, overall well-being.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. A final thought for you to chew on as you go about your day. If just thinking about our tasks can trigger the same stress response as actually doing them, imagine the cumulative physical and mental toll of a perpetually overwhelming, unmanaged list over time.
And now flip that. Consider the opposite. What if the simple, intentional act of listing, planning, breaking down, and acknowledging even the smallest completed steps? What if that could become a daily practice? Not of dread and fatigue, but of calm control, quiet accomplishment, and a growing sense of capability.
Keep exploring these ideas. Find what works for you. Until next time, keep diving deep.